I'm headed to the airport in Incheon, South Korea. It's been a few years, but once again, I'm flying on Korean Airlines, today in their Airbus A330 in business class. Come along with me and let's check out how Korean Air business class is in 2025. Hello, YouTube travelers, and welcome to the Gentleman of Fortune channel. Join me on my travels around the world, and together we'll review the latest in-flight and lounge offerings, find out how various airlines' first and business class products stack up, and sample their catering and indulge in their finest champagnes. Together, we'll experience the best of the best, and maybe some more obscure ones as well. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss a thing. And now I invite you to sit back and relax as we get this next review underway. I've made it to the premium check-in area for Korean Air, which is located at the far right end of Terminal 2. The check-in process was swift, with essentially no waiting, and I'm quickly on my way to the Prestige Lounge. In years past, I'd been totally underwhelmed by the Korean Air Lounge, so I didn't plan to spend much time there or make a video, but I was pleasantly surprised this time. They've really made some nice investments and nice upgrades. It kind of makes me wish I'd planned ahead to spend a little bit more time there. On my way to the gate, I'm surprised to see that today's flight to Delhi will feature the brand new Korean Air livery. What do you think? I know there's some haters out there. I arrived just in time for the boarding process to begin and made my way down to the first and business class jet bridge. I do like these glass jet bridges that give you a nice view of the aircraft as you're approaching. Now there's no first class on today's flight, but by the time I reached my seat, there were already quite a few people in the business class cabin, which will complicate my videoing today since I want to respect their privacy. I've arrived at my window seat, which you may have noticed has that awkward little entry to get into. The good news is, though, that that'll provide a little bit more privacy once we get underway. Waiting at the seat, you can see a blanket, pillow, and amenity kit. Now here's a look at the footrest, television, literature pocket, and the little table along that entranceway into the suite. Note that the middle seats on the aircraft are aligned so that you can sit together with a companion, whereas the outboard seats are staggered for a little more privacy. Looking around my seat once again, I've discovered that there's a little side pocket here that contains a pair of slippers, and there's also a business class menu here. Should have some information for our flight today. We'll take a look at that in a bit. So in addition to the menu, there's also some other stuff that we can read. You got the flight safety card, there's the Morning Calm in-flight magazine, as well as the Sky Shop duty-free catalog. There's quite a few people on today's flight in business class, but the flight attendants did a pretty nice job of coming around and introducing themselves, as well as bringing welcome drinks. I, of course, opted for some champagne. Before long, we had pushed back, taxied, and taken the runway for departure. The whole ground experience on today's flight seemed pretty rushed, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means I didn't have an opportunity yet to make a video of the amenity kit or get pictures of the menu, but stand by for that later. And finally, after a little bit of a roll down the runway, the pilots finally pushed up the engines and we were ready to take off. Now this is an unusually nice and clear day in South Korea, which means we should get a pretty neat view of all the little islands that are off the coast. Now that we're underway, I can raise the privacy divider and hopefully stop annoying my seatmate since he won't see me waving my camera around all over the place. Here's what it looks like with the divider all the way up. Now I've got my own little cocoon. Located on the same control panel with the divider, you have seat control functions. Out towards the entrance to the seat at knee level, there's a universal power outlet. Closer to my hip, there's a remote control for the IFE screen. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to work very well. There seemed to be some type of technical glitch where you couldn't watch movies or TV shows on the TV itself. Even the audio didn't work. It would only play about 3 seconds at a time before shutting off. The only thing that you could display on the TV was the moving map and the aircraft cameras. Behind the storage for this little remote control, in a pretty awkward little compartment, you've got the headphone jack as well as a USB outlet. But this is tricky to find and depending on the seat position can be hard to use. The tray table is stored in the small compartment next to your knee and can be extracted with a push down on it. Once it's extended, it actually can swivel a little bit out of the way to allow you to get in and out of your seat. It's got that nice burled wood look, just like the heavy-duty wood tray tables in first class, but in this case it's a sticker. Now that we've got a working surface, we can take a look at the amenity kit, which is branded with Graph. I like the color scheme. You've got this rich, dark blue, colored leather-esque bag with a gold zipper on it. And inside we've got a number of different amenities. First up, we've got a dental kit. Then we've got a eye mask. It's pretty basic, just a black eye mask. Next, we've got this little hand grenade shaped bottle of Graph hand cream. Next, we've got this little elongated box with Graph eau de toilette, presumably in a little vial inside. And after that, we've got this little tube of Graph branded, let me flip it over for you, lip balm. And digging around in our treasure bag some more, we've got a little package of, man, why is everything in this bag upside down? We've got earplugs. And lastly, there's a little promotional card for Graph. Here's their QR code if you want to discover more. On the inside of the bag, you can see there's a label, Graph exclusively for Korean Air, and a couple of pockets there. So nice little amenity kit overall. And naturally, there's also a pair of headphones available. These came in a plastic bag for sanitation, and they look pretty good. They've got some nice ear cups here, and a padded headband. But as I alluded to earlier, the audio didn't work, so they were essentially useless for the rest of the flight. But here you can see where the headphones plug into the aircraft. And as I mentioned before, it's kind of awkward and difficult to find this and to access it, especially if your seat's extended. All right, let's take a look at the business class, or prestige class as they call it, menu for today's flight. This is from Seoul Incheon to Delhi. Outside the window, it continues to be a beautiful day in Korea. Push it up. Well, in preparation for the meal service, I'm going to head to the lavatory to wash my hands, and while I'm there, we'll take a look at what's available. Unbelievably, unlike at your seat, there's actually a personal air vent in the restroom, making this one of the most comfortable places to be in the aircraft. Otherwise, it's sweltering hot out there in the main cabin. As you can see, they do have a changing table in here. As far as amenities go in here, we've got this bottle of Atelier cologne. There's some air freshener. A couple of these little things that say original. I think they're dental hygiene products. And there's a razor or shaving kit. Oop. And there's also a little thing of shaving cream for your razor. All right, all clean shaven. I'm back at my seat. Just kidding. Does anybody actually shave on an airplane? I returned to my seat to find that they had left this little moist towelette for me that I can use to wash my hands, so I didn't even need to go to the bathroom, but it's probably better anyway. And now for the meal service. How about a few more drops of that Duval Leroy? That should pair nicely with my San Pellegrino while we enjoy this amuse-bouche. A little ball of smoked salmon tartare. For the appetizer, I was served the mozzarella with Italian tomato, which sounds a lot like caprese salad, but that's probably more descriptive for an international audience. They also had a selection of breads. I went with the baguette, although unfortunately there was no garlic bread, which I was really kind of hoping for. They did have some nice French butter, as well as some soup. Since this was a flight to India with some Indian food offerings, they also had traditional Indian bread available. I guess this is a paratha or something, not really sure. It wasn't the best in my opinion. For my main course, I had the beef tenderloin with rosemary sauce. And this was probably the highlight of the dining. I thought they did a nice job of cooking it, so it wasn't overdone. It came out pretty nice. The dessert was fairly basic, with just a trio of fruit, and then the Asian Airline business class staple, a small cup of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. There was a second small meal that was offered as a snack about an hour and 15 minutes before landing. This was comprised of a beef sandwich, another trio of fruit, as well as some soup that was not terribly exciting. After the second meal service was completed, they packed everything up and we began our descent. We had to maneuver around some big clouds, did at least one turn and holding for spacing or timing or something, and then after that we ended up on final and eventually made our way to Delhi International Airport. From the hazy conditions, you may be able to glean that it is also quite warm outside the airport on arrival to India. Which brings me to my overall thoughts on this flight. The two biggest negatives were that there's no air vents at the seat and they keep the cabin ridiculously hot, so you're sweating the whole time and it's quite uncomfortable. Also, since my IFE didn't work, it was a long, boring flight with no movies or even audio to listen to. I found the service to be friendly and the food was not terrible, but there's some aspects of it that weren't amazing either. But for the most part, it was a pretty good effort. Flights originating out of Incheon are generally pretty inexpensive. And as far as the full-service, business class, direct flights go, I think this was probably the cheapest option. Overall, this was a slightly better experience than I expected. And the big surprise of the day was actually the Korean Air Lounge in Incheon, which was far better than I expected. Although they didn't serve champagne at all in the lounge, which I find to be a little bit unusual and highly disappointing. Well, it looks like I've made it safely to my destination, which is Delhi, which is, of course, the most important thing. I hope that you've enjoyed riding along with me today, and that you found it entertaining as well as informative. If you're new to the channel, or if you're a returning visitor, but you've just been a little bit dilatory in hitting that subscribe button, I hope you'll consider doing that, especially if you enjoyed it. You know it helps out the algorithm, and of course it doesn't cost anything. Probably the most important thing, though, is hit that like button. Well, I'll leave you with the eclectic collection of airlines from around the world that we taxied past on our way to the gate. And as always, I'll bid you, until the next video, safe travels.